everybody, I'm KC, and welcome to another edition of Let's Talk About. Today, let's talk about the latest episode of Gravity Falls, Roadside Attraction. Oh boy, this was a tough one to write. I was honestly having trouble finding stuff to talk about it in this episode. Not because it's bad, on the contrary, it was a fun episode, but not a whole lot happened. Having said that, let's get the elephant in the room out of the way real quick. Where the heck was Stanford? Look, I get it. The team just wanted a small filler episode, a quick adventure with the main cast that doesn't tie to the mystery. You don't want him in the episode? Fine, I don't mind that. Some of my favorite episodes didn't tie to the mystery, but at least acknowledge that he exists. It's a bit surprising having Ford dedicated to protecting the family in the shack, and then, in the very next episode, the entire group besides Ford heads out on a road trip, and none of them so much as mention him. Again, I don't mind that he's not in the episode, but a throwaway line about him would have been nice. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get to the actual episode. Like I said, not a whole lot happens in this episode. Stan takes Seuss and the kids with him to sabotage some of Oregon's other tourist traps. The attractions are funny, and so are Stan's sabotaging moments. But the biggest attraction is a place called Mystery Mountain that seems to have a fascination with giant spiders.
I went back to Warner Brothers and sat down with them, and they said, we heard from him, he likes you, we're going to hire you to move forward. Did he bring up the spider? I said he did, he brought up the spider. Did he tell you guys about the spider? Like, every day with the fucking spider.
Actually, before we go more into Mystery Mountain, let's go over some of the characters, more specifically, Dipper and Stan. Easily the best thing about this episode is the relationship between Dipper and Stan, which is something we haven't really seen much of. I love the scene where Dipper is pouring out his feelings to Stan, and Stan is being completely supportive, and even tries to help him. Of course, his advice is what gets Dipper in trouble later on, but the fact that he was genuinely trying to help him is something I really appreciated. He doesn't make fun of Dipper for thinking he had a shot with Wendy, even though he clearly thought it was ridiculous. And when Dipper says he's going to be sad and alone, Stan forcefully says for him to never think that. It's a side of the relationship we have only seen lightly touched on before, so I appreciate greatly that it was focused on here. That said, I do wish some things got a bit more focus. Specifically, the scenes with Stan and Darlene, the owner of the Mystery Mountain. Remember how I said Stan gave Dipper advice on how to get girls to like him? Well, it does work with various girls from various attractions, and even works on Candy. This of course blows up in Dipper's face and he loses all of those girls. Something similar happens when Stan is flirting with Darlene. Since Stan thinks his techniques are working and he thinks he's in control of the situation, he doesn't realize that Darlene leads him up to the mountain so she can, well, eat him.
And saw a movie that John Peters had produced, and it was called The Wild Wild West. So I'm sitting in the theater watching the movie, I'm like, good lord, this is a piece of shit. But then all of a sudden, like a giant fucking spider shows up.
Yeah, she's revealed to be a giant spider after about a minute of screen time. Now this situation drives the moral of the episode home, that confidence alone won't bring you love. You have to throw in sincerity with it, which I think is something that could have been shown a lot better if we got to the Mystery Mountain quicker, and had a scene or two more with Stan and Darlene. The idea of her using Stan's tactics against him isn't a bad one. In fact, it's a great idea. And after episodes like Into the Bunker and A Tale of Two Stans, this kind of story is perfect for both Stan and Dipper. I just wish we could have spent a little more time on Stan's end of it, since I felt his side reflected the moral a bit better. Speaking of Into the Bunker, Darlene's spider form and its transformations may be the creepiest looking creature since the shapeshifter. Ugh. Overall, this episode's a bit of a mixed bag. I did appreciate what they touched on, I just wish they spent a bit more time on it. The rest of the characters don't really do much, except for Candy, who ends up saving the day, which is pretty cool. There were some funny moments, and I did have fun watching it. Like I said, it's not a bad episode, but it's one of the weaker of the season. But hey, Alex Hirsch himself said that the episode was supposed to be a fun one-off, which is what we got. A little break before things go off the rail? Oh boy. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.